everyone, I want to quickly show you and share with you this book. It is an old book called the Encyclopedia of Occult Sciences. It has lost its dust jacket. This particular one is an edition by Tudor. It was initially published in the 30s, and then this particular edition I think is a reprinting from the 60s. So it is by, or introduction by MC, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, Poinsot. So as you can see, I bought this for $8, but I spent about $25 shipping it over. So I obviously really wanted this book, and sort of figured that if I do find it in the local secondhand bookshop, that it might cost about as much, because then those guys will have to ship them over as well, unless there are people in New Zealand who have this particular book from the 60s, and I wasn't very optimistic about that. So the reason for me for buying this book is the section here. Under cartomancy, it has the tarot here, which is the tarot. And so the major arcana over there, and it's the juggler, the popess, the empress. Isn't that interesting? It's the juggler. So that's one interesting bit. The other one that is interesting to me is the madman just before the world. Everything else seems to have the same name: the Pope, Lover, Chariot, Justice, Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, Strength, Hangman, Death, Temperance, Devil, and the Madhouse. So there is the Madhouse, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and then the Madman. Those two are quite different, and this one is the Juggler, as in as a Fool, I suppose, because some system ends with the Fool. This particular one ends with the World, so I'm assuming that the first one here is our equivalent of the Fool. Nevertheless, this is I've sort of somehow ended up finding out that this book, this particular section of it, is a good what should I say, a good assistance, or like that version of the little white book, that guide to read with the Oswald Wirth tarot system, or rather he's Swiss, so he's an occultist from Swiss in the not in the 1800s, early 20th century, I believe. Because he's Swiss German from his name, I think you pronounce his last name Wirth, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, the Oswald Wirth Tarot, a modern take on that, is available from Scarabeo, but Oswald Wirth Tarot was developed as a combination of the Marseille system combined with Levi. So Levi is an occultist from the 1800s. His actual name was, I think he's French. He's real, or his initial name is Alphonse Louis, and so he made it. He translated into Hebrew into Eliphas Levi, if you say it in French, and to anglicize it, it's Eliphas Levi. And so the Oswald Wirth, or Oswald Wirth Tarot, is a combination of the Marseille and that of Levi. And so this, I heard, is how you can understand the Oswald Wirth Tarot in a way that it had originally been intended. So, and then of course it goes to the minor as well, so all the way here. So I mainly bought this book for that, and yeah, so I haven't really, other than that, I can't really say very much about it, other than it contains a variety of interesting other, what is considered to be occult sciences, from reading palm to reading the, as you can see there, to reading someone's head, what do you call that, and then reading handwriting and reading tea leaves and a variety of things. So other than that, I can't say very much about it, because let me have a look. So it was originally published in 1939, at least by Tudor, by this particular New York publishing house, because it's been published by a couple of different publishing houses at least, I think, and this one is 1968. So they're relatively cheap, I think, in the second-hand market. This one is $8, but I could not find any other way to ship it, and so this cost me a total of about $30 or so, which is just something I have to swallow, really. And yeah, so that is about it. I will link below a bit more information about Levi and about Oswald Wirth and their tarot decks. Bye!